Hello everyone, this is the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage. Welcome back. I am presenting to you the debut of a machine I acquired recently, and it is, of course, it's probably no surprise to any of you, this is a 201. And I got this machine from someone who was trying to sort of, I guess, slim down their majority. Some people have lots of machines. And I took this machine through the same process I take every machine, which is to go through the machine section by section and give it the service that almost all machines are way overdue for. And this one I picked out. It's actually has beautiful black lacquer finish. The lacquer is in great shape. I don't see any I don't see any pin rash or any of that stuff that you sometimes see. Nothing wrong with that. My own machine, I don't care if it has if it has chips or scratches, because I like all of them. But this one was a good find, and this was a British-made Singer 201, and of course it has the rear-mounted motor with the belt. On the Kijiji listing, you will see an itemized list of the various things that were done to overhaul the machine. One of which is a new belt. That's pretty common. Sometimes I get machines that if the belt was changed not too far back, the belt can be fine, but I always take them off and inspect them, make sure they're okay. But in this case, I replaced it with a new belt and got some blue thread in the machine. The machine will come with some accessories. It has a tucker. This is you typically see a number of attachments that tend to be familiar if you've gotten an old Singer. Here is a gathering foot or a shirring foot, S-H-I-R-R-I-N-G. And a shirring foot is another way to gather material. And this is a rolled hem foot. A lot of the fashions back in the day had a lot of pleats and ruffles, and a lot of the gathering of fabric needed to be done somehow, and these tools were provided or sold by Singer, if they were not included with the machine, to help make those sewing tasks easier. Let's see, of course, the 201, many of you know this machine. It is, if you have an American 201, you will see a light fixture on the front. And if it's either made in Britain or Canada, you'll often see the light on the back. I've been told that there were some direct drive machines made in Great Britain, but at least in terms of what I find here in North America, most of the potted motor machines are, you'll find a lot more of them in the United States than you will in Canada, or certainly than in the United Kingdom. But anyway, I wanted to sort of demonstrate this machine, and let's see. Of course, you will also notice that the 201s have an extra inch of width between the needle and the support pillar, and that's useful to some of you. Some of you won't care. Most machines don't have that. The only other ones I'm aware of in domestic vintage machines would be the Singer 66, which is the big brother or big sister of the 99 and the 185. So without further ado, I've got some, let's see if I can move the camera down a little bit so you can see a little bit more about how she's stitching here. And I'll start it out on a long, this is a straight stitch machine, of course, and it has the rotary hook. And you'll notice how wonderfully quiet this machine runs, like all 201s. Very little noise. Of course, I can back tack. I hear a little clicking of the thread spool up top, but other than that, I would suggest that the 201s are one of the quietest machines ever created. Many of you have heard me brag about these machines, but I think the most important opinions on such machines as this are really from the people who sew. And my interest in 201s came because I had sewers asking me about them. People who quilt and people who do all sorts of sewing wanted me to restore 201s either that I had found or that they had found. Now I'm going to, let's see, we'll run it a little faster, let you see her go. And then I'll come over here and we'll do a shorter stitch. If you are new to my channel, then you may not have heard me say, and I mention this in almost every video I do, that if you have a Singer with a rotary hook, it will provide you one of the most smooth and straightest stitches you've ever seen. And it has to do with how rotary hooks are designed. On the other hand, if you have a machine with an oscillating hook, do not feel badly, because oscillating hooks have their place. They are, I would argue that the oscillating, like the Singer 15 class, for example, and a lot of the clones, are actually machines that are, they're more like tractors. They can really sew through extra heavy stuff. The 201 can handle heavy material, but those old oscillating 15s are strong too. So I never want to give short shrift to other machines, but those of you who like the rotary hook stitch, you will definitely recognize that when you see the stitches this machine makes. Now, I am going to shorten the stitch and show you. You will notice that rotary hook machines, and this is also true of the white rotaries, not just the Singers, they make the most remarkable short stitches. Now, not all sewing techniques call for short stitches. Those that do are typically, if you're sewing knits, for example, or you may have other projects. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Where am I? Okay, so this is the top, and you'll see the really consistent stitch tension. Here's the other side, and notice, of course, as I show off many times, in here is a seam, and you'll notice that when the machine sews over the seam and goes from 2 layers to the seam, which I think creates 4, and then back to 2, notice that the stitch tension is consistent. And that's one of the hallmarks of a really great sewing machine. Not the only one, but that's certainly one of them. And let's see, I'll take this fabric sample. We'll turn it over. Again, this is now 4 layers, and where you have the seam 6, and again, that's not anything that any vintage machine could not handle, including this one. We'll go back to the long length stitch. And you know, again, there are so many great vintage sewing machines. All of them have their strengths, and you know that because you've heard me and other people on YouTube talk about them. So that's not really news. But again, Singer 201s are not. Here we go. Here's these are the more recent stitches I did on this fabric. The 201 is not rare, but it's one of those machines I find that is often in great demand, and in part because of not only the stitch, but of course the width. People have their different reasons. But anyway, if you are interested in seeing this machine or doing some test sewing on it, contact me through the listing. I'd be happy to show it to you. And I can also demonstrate how they run. So if you're new to this machine, or maybe you've only ever used newer sewing machines, you're thinking, how would I learn to use a vintage machine? They are incredibly simple. You would be surprised, actually, a lot more simple than many modern machines. But anyway, if you are interested in seeing this, I have fabrics to demonstrate, or you can bring your own. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.